Set my robot on fire and I haven't even turned it on yet.
Today's episode is made possible through the continuing support of the wonderful Dax Boden and dozens of people just like you on Patreon. If you like what I do and you want to help build cool robots and other amazing projects, check out the links below in the description and see how you can get involved, hang out, have fun, and help make all of this happen. Thank you. Hi there guys, welcome back to the shop. I'm Chris Boden, and today on Project Archi, we're doing episode 30. It's been that many already because we break this down into step by step and it's cool like that. So in our last episode, we did the motor and encoder cable sleeving, the short part of the sleeve, just to get us around the thing right here for this sexiness. And we came out here, went around the back and down and through. So now we're down to here, but now we have this giant wad of cables. And this is the J2 motor and encoder wires and limit switch. This is the J3 motor, encoder, and limit switch wires. So we have a giant wad of cables, and there's no way we're gonna fit that through a 1/4-inch sleeve. So today we get to break out the big stuff. You get to play with this right there. You'll notice this is the 1/2 inch. So we're gonna be sleeving this in 1/2 inch, and you're gonna need to cut a chunk of this off, and all the rules that apply to cutting the 1/4 inch apply to the 1/2 inch. So we're just gonna cut off a bit of this here. You're gonna need a 20-inch long piece and a good pair of scissors. So you'll need 20 inches, that's 51 centimeters. And of course, after you cut it off, you wanna melt the ends a little bit. So we're gonna do the same thing we always do. We're gonna pinch that down a little bit and then just fire polish the end. Make sure it's opened up when you do. And we'll see how much we have to stretch that out when we're done. But for now, I'm just gonna run it right up there and see what we get. So take all your wires together, all of them. Make sure there's no spins or flips or anything like that. It's really easy for them to get caught on each other. But pull them all out nice and straight. Now they're going to come out to slightly different lengths, but it's really important that you lay them all straight. And then that'll tell you you're going to want a minimum of 4 inches of engagement, is what I'm going to say. And we're going to take all the tape off when we're done here anyway, including the stuff from the previous step. So, but I'm going to need a pretty hefty piece of tape there. And how long your tape is depends on a million variables beyond my control. So I'm going to go from there all the way out to about there. You can always tear a little bit off. I'm going to lay this out on the table. I'm going to fold the end over just a little bit so it'll hold itself down. Then I'm going to lay this out on the table with a minimum of like 3 or 4 inches of engagement. And I'm going to do it all off to the one side closest to me because we're going to wrap this up like a electrical burrito. Okay. So once you got that on there, bring the other side around. You're going to just squeeze them all together in one consistent tube. Bring that right down to the end. And then just crush it together. Don't worry, it's going to be a mess to get off of there when we're done, and that'll be fine. We'll get through this together. But you just want to get it all scrunched in. Now, if you look right here, see that one peeking out? We can't have that. So we can add another piece of tape. Ain't no rule says we gotta do it all in one. But what you really wanna make sure of is that you don't have any pokey bits coming out the side, because if you do, it's gonna catch on the inside of that sleeve, and that's gonna suck because it won't pull through. This is one of those steps where it's a lot like painting a house. the more work you spend on preparation, the easier it's gonna be. Like the actual job of pulling this through there, trivial, nothing to it if you do all the preparation. So we're gonna get all taped and secure, nice and straight and good. Okay, now we're ready to pull. So we'll take this, put it on our thing. We'll just run that right up there. And this could be, if you're doing this, this could be a piece of coat hanger or something like that. Just whatever you happen to have. I happen to have the cool tool, so I'm gonna use it. So we're gonna grab that. And now I gotta hold this on there because that wants to just shoot right off. So I gotta hold that back with one hand. I'm clever. Look at that. I ought to be on the YouTubes. All right, so we're gonna grab this. And I'm just pulling that little tail through. Oh, I got the same problem I had last time. I gotta expand that end. But now my end is a lot bigger. So what do I have that's bigger? Oh, you'll do. Will you? I think you will. Oh yeah. Looks like a hat. No, it's a snake eating an elephant. Oh, okay. That's not quite what I want. So this is where we get a little creative. Oh, maybe? I think that'll do. That's bigger than a 1/2 inch. Pair of needle nose. Oh yeah, that's perfect. I can just stretch that right out. I can do this end. Pair of needle nose. Now you know. You just improvise, adapt, and overcome. See what you got laying around where you're at. Make it work. It's gonna be okay. It's not like we're doing high-tech robotics engineering or something. One of the lessons I hope you learned from seeing all this is that even the people that are legit rocket scientists, they do stuff like this too. Even rocket science isn't always rocket science. And some of my viewers who have email addresses that end in things like jpl.nasa.gov will tell you. All right, we just see, once you get it, once you get all your preparation done, just slides right on there. So we're gonna run that all the way down to where it splits off to various things, and then we're gonna squeeze it and run it back up. You just pull that and it'll come right back up. Oh, that's so cool. You want to have all the length you can get. And now we can peel off our tape. But before I do that, I'm going to put a zip tie around the end and secure that. So let's get a big one. We're going to put right up in here, we're going to put a zip tie to just keep all that stuff together. This is one of those moments where my little gun really shines. Because that's cleaned off flush. Always flush cut your zip ties. That is an ironclad rule. Whenever you install a zip tie somewhere, when you cut the end off, make it flush. Get a good little pair of flush cutters, like these are really good, or my little Hako ones. But always flush cut your zip ties, because somebody, probably you, is going to have to stick their hand in that robot, in that cabinet, in that junction box, in that project. And if you got the little pokey bits on your zip tie, man, they cut the hell out of your hands. So sort that out. So I'm going to just work this down nice and clean. I like how that looks. All right, so now we just peel all this off and separate our wires back out. And the cool thing about the blue painter's tape, if you peel it off that day, okay, you can have it on there for a couple hours and it's fine. Don't leave it on there for weeks. And if you peel it off that day, doesn't leave any residue, comes off nice and easy and clean. I am a huge fan of the blue painter's tape. Ta-da! Look at that. That's festive. Now I've got a couple little flyers down here where I separated all that out. You can see I got a couple little flyers there. So I'm just going to give that a little heat, just gently. I don't want to mess up my wires. Set my robot on fire and I haven't even turned it on yet. And now that's all nice and clean and totally cool. All right, for our next step, what we're going to do is we're going to grab a couple big zip ties and we're going to bring all these wires through the left side cable gland. So we're going to carefully do them a little bit at a time, but all these wires need to come out on the other side. Take your time. Might be a bit of a fight, but you'll get there. You might even get lucky enough to be able to do them in kind of a big group. Make sure you don't leave anybody behind. We don't want it to be like that school trip to Chicago. Poor Timmy was traumatized for years. Okay, so I'm having a bit of a fight getting that through the thing. So what I'm going to do is unscrew this so I can run it through in separate bits because I got all the fingers to get around. Oh yeah, that's definitely the way to do that. Okay, and then just work it through all the little fingers because you actually want the sleeving to end up inside the robot. And remember, this stuff likes to push up the wire, not pull. So we got all that through. I got my sleeving on the inside, and I can visually confirm that I have all my wires. So you should, at this point, have two different cable sleeves that go through the gland. You should have the really big one and the little tiny one off the J1 limit switch. I'm going to just tighten that down a little bit. It doesn't really grab onto it, but we'll tighten it down. Now I'm going to pull the gland through here a little bit. I'm actually going to draw it into the chamber a little bit. And I'm going to take a couple big zip ties and we're going to put these over the whole bundle. I'm going to go up, say, well, I'm going to do one right near the end here. And I'm going to work my thing and make sure I got as much cable on the outside as possible. You want to have this part as long as you can get it. And then tighten that. So that's secured with the first zip tie. And then I'm going to put another zip tie on it in the opposite direction. Like so. Because what I want to do is create a big stopper so the wire doesn't want to easily pull out. I did have that right the first time. All right, well, I'm just going to put it over on the other side like this. Butted right up against the first zip tie. And then I'm going to slide these back to the hole a little bit, and then I can tighten this down. And you just bring it down finger tight. You don't need to put a wrench on this. And now that's nice and tight and won't pull out. We may have to run more wires through there, so I don't want to like get everything super tight at this stage. But now we have all of our wires coming out, and look at that sexy cable routing. We got this big anaconda cable that handles everything for J1, 2, and 3, all right through there, all sorted. Oh no, the J1 motor comes in the other side. I don't know if that's supposed to come in here or not, but I'm gonna check just to be sure. I don't think so, but I'm gonna check. All right, so I got looking at this, and check this out. I think I screwed something up like 20 videos ago. I have my J1 motor lead, or my J1 encoder lead in a piece of sleeving, but I don't have the motor leads in that sleeving. So what I'm gonna do right now, because I checked the manual, and we gotta bring this through there as well, I'm gonna take a minute and put these inside this sleeve. I'm gonna label both sets because some of them have the same color wire, and we're just gonna reinstall this sleeve. So I made a little screw up on there. We're gonna fix that real quick, and I'm gonna show you how, because if I have the screw up and you exactly followed my instructions, then you have the screw up too, and it's my fault, and I'm sorry about that. So we're gonna fix it real quick. Now we'll lay out the J1 motor leads all nice and straight. And I'll label those. There's my J1 motor label. And now I'm gonna just leave that right on there. Put my J1 encoder tag on here. Now these tags will probably come off, and we'll make new ones and reapply them later on, because I still intend on having everything labeled in there in the future. But if I just twist those together, do I have the room? Oh, that's going to be tight. Oh, it came out the side. It's going to be too much of a fight, so we're just going to do it like this. We'll run this up here. Oh, it's going to be tight. Super tight. We're going to do it with a piece of tape. This is a good place for the tape trick. Just going to roll that whole thing down like that, and then wrap it around. Squeeze it a lot. You want really good adhesion. You can twist it a little bit, tear that little flag off the end, because that'll just get in your way. Now I'm going to grab the end of this. Nice and tight. And with any luck, I can slide this right on up. Beautiful. And and you're always feeding from the back. You're always pushing. Okay. Now that we've got that in place, we can pop a zip tie on it. Squeeze it down. Don't put your zip tie right up at the very end. You want to give the wires enough space to come together comfortably. Because at the end, they're going to splay out. You don't want to be crimping like this. You want to let the wires come together and then bite down on it with a zip tie there. So you want to be out like 1/2 inch. That'll be fine. And then peel all that tape off that you just did all that work to get out. There, we got that. It's okay to make mistakes, just be able to identify them and know how to fix them. And I screwed one up there. So we've got that sorted out. And now we gotta take this off again. Aren't you glad we didn't use a wrench? And we'll pass this set of wires. Probably would have been easier to leave the tape on to do this step, but I'm not going to put the tape on again. We're just going to twist them together. We're going to run these wires through the thing. And you can grab like a popsicle stick or something to make a little hole to get that through. Like this. This is just a flux brush, but it works great as a needle to guide that through. May not need it for these. These wires are a little stiffer. Cool. Okay, stage 1 completed. Oh, no, we got to get the banding through as well. Come on. There we go. And we got to do all this without pulling too hard on the thing. Now, we got to get through that. And this can be a little tricky because I want to get around that corner. So this could be a little hard because I want to pull. Oh no, I got room. I got room. Tons of room. It's an easy, comfortable fit. Getting those through is going to be a bit of a job. And I can't get my tweezers in there. What do I have that'll get me around this problem? Oh! A tongue depressor. All right, so I'm going to take a popsicle stick and break it off and stick that through, maybe from this side. Yeah, that might work. Because I want to get me a little room to operate in there. I want to be able to get those through without too much of a fight. And there's a rubber gland inside there that can make that a little difficult. But we got it. Okay. That's one wire all the way through. That's the other wires all the way through. And then the sleevey bit. Come out, and it's out the other side. It's in, it's good, it scores! Yeah, okay. We got it. Now, I'm going to pull this way through and then immediately put a zip tie on it, because what the zip tie does is prevents it from pulling back out in the future. Like, accidentally. You could take it out if you cut the zip tie off. Okay, that's on there. And now I can run that back all the way up to the end and then tighten these down. Now you can tighten it for real. Still don't put a wrench on it. But that's all the wires from J1, 2, and 3 motors, encoders, and limit switches all in there. Look at that sexy routing. That is so cool. It goes all the way from way out here through the whole thing with the up and under mojo down over here, and then we're back to the thing, and this all goes round, it goes through the gland, it's all sorted. We had a little screw up there, that's entirely my fault, I'm sorry about that, but we identified it, we rectified it, it's good now, I'm happy. At this point, all of our wiring for J1, 2, and 3 is all installed and routed all the way back to the thing, and in the next few episodes, we're going to terminate all of that stuff for the whole bottom half of the robot. Like, we're about to hit the halfway point, and I'm pretty excited about that. If you've made it this far, if you've gotten through all these videos and all these steps, I am genuinely proud of you. Share your work. I want to see it. Post it in the forums at annandrobotics.com or get in my Discord. The link's below in the description. It's absolutely free, and everybody's invited. I want to see your robots. I want to see your progress. I love getting the comments and the videos and the pictures and all that from everybody who's building one of these. I think it's absolutely rock star. You guys are super cool. Thank you for hanging out with me and building a robot step by step. As always, I'm Chris Boden, and I'll see you next time. Have fun.